Have you ever really stopped to think about the deal we all made with social media? It's this unspoken agreement, right? We get to connect with our friends, we get to share our lives, and it's all free. But what's the catch? What are we actually giving up in return? Let's get into it, because the real cost of free social media is way, way higher than you think.
So, let's start with what I like to call the social media bargain. This is that invisible contract we all just kind of clicked agree on when we signed up for our first accounts. And, like with any contract, the devil is always in the details. And this right here, really gets to the heart of it. This statement is the uncomfortable truth of that bargain. I mean, think about it. Entire fortunes, massive, massive fortunes, have been built on the back of these platforms that we, the users, fill with content every single day. Seriously, think about it. Every single vacation photo, every random thought you typed out, every article you shared, all of it. You are providing the raw material that helped someone else build their empire, not your own.
And it goes deeper than just posts. Every like you've ever clicked was a tiny little data signal. You were, in essence, a free employee, training an algorithm that you have zero control over, teaching it exactly what to show people to keep them scrolling.
Yeah, even the funny stuff. Every hilarious meme, every viral video you helped push out there, you were doing the heavy lifting. You were the distribution network, the curator for these giant platforms, and you were doing it all for free.
And here's the bottom line. All that activity, the posts, the likes, the shares, it wasn't just for fun. It was valuable work. You were helping to build a more powerful, more addictive, attention-grabbing machine, but none of the value that machine created ever flowed back to you.
So this all leads to a fundamental concept of the internet as we know it, and it's a phrase you've definitely heard before. If you're not paying for the product, well then you are the product. Let's really break down what that actually means.
So here it is. Places like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they're not free because they're generous. They are incredibly sophisticated data-gathering machines. They take our attention, our interests, our content, they package it all up, and they sell access to it to the highest bidder, usually advertisers. That's the whole business model.
Just look at this breakdown. The power dynamic is, well, it's pretty stark, isn't it? The platform owns your followers. You're just renting them. The platform owns your data, which you happily give away. And they have absolute control over who even sees your content. You are literally playing in their sandbox by their rules.
And this is the biggest risk of all in this arrangement. I mean, what happens if you accidentally violate some new obscure term of service, or their algorithm just makes a mistake and flags you? What happens if the platform just decides one day, you're done?
Poof, it's just gone. Years of work, of content, of connections and community building. Your entire digital identity can be wiped off the map in an instant, and there's often nothing you can do about it because you never actually owned it to begin with.
But what if there was another way, a better way? This is where things get really exciting. We're pivoting now from the problem to the solution. We are entering a completely new era of the internet, one that's built on a totally different foundation, actual, true digital ownership. This is the game changer. Web3 social apps are built on blockchains. Now, just think of a blockchain as a secure public notebook that no single company owns or controls. So when your content is on-chain, it means it's recorded in this public space, not locked away in some private corporate server room.
And this visual just makes it so clear. In Web 2, your digital life is locked inside the platform's vault. They have the only key. But in Web 3, the blockchain gives you the key. Your data, your followers, your entire identity, it's all yours. So if one website or app goes down, who cares? You just take your key and your audience and you go somewhere else.
And that's the revolution in a nutshell. That one technological shift completely flips the script. The power moves away from the centralized platform and goes directly into the hands of the creators and the users. It's a total power inversion.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like some kind of sci-fi, far-off future, but it's not. This new user-owned internet is being built as we speak, and people are already using it every single day.
Let's just look at a few of the pioneers who are actually out there building this thing. You've got platforms like Farcaster, Lens Protocol, and Friend.tech. They all have slightly different approaches, but they all share that same core principle. You, the user, are in control. You own your stuff.
So take Farcaster, for example. On the surface, it looks and feels a lot like Twitter. But underneath, the whole architecture is decentralized.
You own your identity. You own your data. And the cool part is, different apps can plug into the same network, so you get to choose how you want to see your feed.
And then you have something like Lens, which is built on this amazing idea of a portable social life. Your profile, your followers, your content, it's all bundled together into one package that you can take with you to any app that's built on Lens. Just think about that. You never have to start from scratch ever again.
So let's bring it all together. The shift that we're talking about here is really a fundamental change in how we think about our digital lives. It's about going from being a renter on someone else's digital property to becoming an owner of your own.
Look, the main thing I want you to take away is this. This is not some theoretical debate about what the internet might look like in 10 years. It's here, right now. The tools are live, and the quiet revolution, the migration from being a digital renter to a digital owner, has already started.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Try to forget about the limits of today's algorithms. Forget about the platforms. If you knew with 100% certainty that your audience, your content, your entire community was truly yours, what would you create? What would you build?
Subscribe and follow Web3 Newswire for more updates on social and economy.